Yes, buying a new home directly from a builder's inventory can be costly if you do it incorrectly. So today I'll be sharing what's fact or fiction and dispel myths that you might have. I want to give you some of the top 10 fears that I hear from people when it comes to buying from a builder and buying off of that inventory. I'll talk you through all of those fears, and hopefully by the end of this video, make you feel good about buying from a builder's inventory. So here we go. So fear number one that I hear from clients is the price is non-negotiable. What the price is what the price is. Let's debunk that. Everything is negotiable, especially with builders. Now, there's a caveat. When I say everything is negotiable, does that mean they're going to give you $100,000 off? Probably not. Does that mean they will have a little bit of wiggle room on the price? Probably so. The price is negotiable, but pro tip, there is more that affects your monthly payment than just price. So if you really want to negotiate like a pro, you're going to really want to get the best deal. Less worry about the price negotiations and more about incentive negotiations. This is the point of saying, hey, instead of giving me $5,000 off the price, can we get a little bit extra in closing costs so we can lower our upfront costs? Or we buy down that interest rate, something like that, so we can have lower payments. Or can we get a washer and dryer if it doesn't come with it, blinds, other things versus the straight price reduction. So everything is negotiable. You can negotiate with the builder, especially on things that are on the inventory, which is what this video is talking about, and things that can close quickly. Also, typically, the more you spend, the more likely there's a greater chance that you're going to save more. That's the name of the game. Number two, limited customization options. Now, I think this one is probably really valid, especially because today we're talking about we're buying off the builder's inventory, which means there's not going to be a whole ton of customization options, and you're still going to have options to add your own personal decor, add your own personal touches. Honestly, you can probably do it a little bit cheaper than you could doing it from the builder anyway, depending on what it is. But if you have a blank, clean canvas that you don't have to fix, you just get to amplify, which is awesome. Fear number three, it's a rush purchase. This comes into play, especially on homes that are either almost done or about to be done. A ton of builders have this thought like, hey, if the home is done and we get it under contract, we can close it quickly, which is only like 30, 45, 60 days. There's not going to be a lot of time to think about it, and you feel rushed. Here's my thought on this. Just because it's move-in ready doesn't mean you shouldn't skip the due diligence. Here's what I mean by that. Yes, we're seeing a little bit of potential competition coming into play, and as we're starting this year out here, we're getting towards the beginning of this quarter where their incentives have actually can either continue to go or they can actually stop because they finished their fiscal year. So yes, we need to get these homes under contract, but does that mean we don't take any time to make sure the home is inspected? Even if the home is fully complete, everything done, you need to get the cleaners in there, take the time to get the home inspected. So you're going to have that time, get it inspected, and you'll also still get a builder's walk or new home walk orientation, or what they call a blue tape walk. So yes, it could potentially move very quickly, like 30 days, 45 days. But that still doesn't mean you don't have the opportunity to get yourself that peace of mind to get the home inspected and make sure that everything is good to go and it's up to par before we get to closing. All right, before we get to point four, I want to take a moment to tell you, my name is Eric, and I sell real estate here in the Las Vegas area. Specifically, I sell a ton of new construction homes. That's my hope, and the thing that I enjoy the most is helping people find a brand new home, whether it's to build or buy. So if you're here in Las Vegas area and you're looking to relocate, or you're coming in from another state or in another market and you're thinking about new construction, it's the way to go. We'd love to help you, and I'm going to put my contact information below. Reach out if you have any questions. The next point is, I think, the most legitimate point, and I think it's very real concern to a lot of people, and that is the fear of why hasn't this home sold yet. It's very legitimate. We walk into a community and the builders are like, oh, we have 20 inventory homes, and you're like, Oh, red flag. Why do you have all of those? We almost at times we feel like we'd rather walk in and someone tell us, yeah, there's one home. So it's like, oh, why are there 20? The truth is, we don't know why. It's so community dependent. It could be things like, hey, they're one of those builders who do production on inventories. So like KB Homes, we have Richmond American, they're doing this stuff too. Believe it or not, even high-end builders like Toll Brothers are starting to do this. They're building a ton of speculation inventory. They don't do a lot of contract that dirt work anymore. Toll Brothers is doing probably the most. 60% of stuff is still from dirt. The rest is inventory homes. They do contracts in the frame stage or later down the process. They have a lot of that inventory, and that's where there's a bunch of potential. There's also the potential that people had contracts come out for one reason or another, but most of it is going to be homes that they built as speculation, figuring out that people are going to want to buy them and move in quick and not wait for 6 months, or some builders take 18. There's a ton of reasons. And then that home comes back to the builder and it's on their inventory. And we need to sell it now. Side tip, when those homes come back to inventory, those are some of the best deals because they're not expecting to get those back. And they need to sell those quickly. And you're going to find some really good deals. But not having sold yet, that should not be a major red flag. That's something that's majorly wrong with the neighborhood, with the builder, or with the community. Let's put that fear to bed. Fear number 5, buying off the builder's inventory is, hey, this home has the potential to be lower quality. This is one of the interesting ones for me because I think whether the builder is building it from the ground up with a contract on it and somebody is just watching it every day, waiting for their house to be built, or they added an inventory by building it on spec. It's the same contractor. Inventory homes hold the same standard as the dirt built houses. They get the same city inspection. They get the same builder walkthroughs. They get the same of all things that every other house in that community gets. The only difference is you weren't there watching the whole process, step by step, all along the way. There is the same quality that your neighbor got, that people across the street got, that people down the block got. It's the same quality because those builders need to maintain their standards and their reputation based upon that builder. Now, we've talked before at length, not all builders are the same. If you're looking for some reviews of builders, there are extensive reviews on my channel about who I like, who I don't like, and who you should avoid. Questions you should ask. We can eliminate the fear that it's not up to standard based on it being an inventory home. Of course, like we talked about earlier, I'll always recommend you get a home inspection regardless, whether you started it from the dirt or you just got it in the end off the inventory or some house that was returned to the builder. Point number 6, let's talk about limited warranty, because people hear this and they're like, oh, you're giving us a warranty because you're worried about the workmanship. No, they're giving you a warranty because they want to stand behind their workmanship. Most builders in Nevada operate under a 1-year cosmetic and anything that goes wrong in the home, and they're going to come and fix it. They have different warranties based on the HVAC, so that could be 2 years for that, or the plumbing or the electrical or anything system-wise that runs in your home, and then a 6 to 10 year warranty depending on the builder on structure and foundation. They're giving you that warranty as a, hey, we want to stand behind our work. And some of these builders even maintain their own warranty work. They don't hire third-party companies because they want to stand behind their work. So don't see that a warranty as, oh, it's a bad thing. See the warranty is it's a blessing. Call it a safety net. Call it a safeguard, a security. On top of that warranty, you'll probably have manufacturer warranties on your dishwasher and your HVAC and anything that's been installed in your home. So let's eliminate that fear of that limited warranty. Now, granted, you go in and you start kicking holes in the walls and something breaks because of your neglect, they're not going to cover that. But if it's a material defect or workmanship defect, most likely it's going to be covered. Fear number 7 is, I didn't get to pick the location in the neighborhood. You love the house, you love the floor plan, you love everything else, but you're like, Oh, I'm worried about the location. Here's the thing. Sometimes this can actually be a good thing. Builders, especially on the inventory homes, they tend to pick the best locations in the neighborhood. They're not trying to screw people. They're trying to put their homes in the best place possible because they want to make money. I also know that some people are super concerned about the direction their house faces. I totally understand those, and it's a valid concern. If those are things that are important to you, we need to just make sure we ask those questions. Also, we can look at the plot itself and see if it faces the directions you want. We can talk to the builder and be like, hey, we want to see homes, but only homes that have a north or northwest facing lot, southern exposure, whatever. They can tell us. That's super easy. Don't let that be a fear of like, oh, we didn't get to pick the location. Maybe there's bodies hidden. I promise you, they're not. Drive through the neighborhood, drive around, talk to the neighbors adjacent to that street. Ultimately, there's probably a little bit of peace in that you didn't have to pick it. Fear number 8 of buying a home in a builder's inventory is there's no emotional connection. Now, the one thing I totally understand about this is I've seen several clients build their houses from the ground up. Some of them have so much pride. I mean, I've literally seen people bring their friends by every weekend so they can see every step of that home being built. That's an emotional connection. There's just something just special and magical about watching it, going from a piece of dirt to them putting in the pipes, to them building the foundation, building in and framing the walls. I get that. And you watch it come together and it becomes your house. You're like, oh man, we've missed out on that emotional connection of watching our home being built from the ground up and everything coming together exactly that way and the way it's supposed to. On the flip side, you missed out on the emotional connection, but you didn't have the emotional stress. You didn't have all the stress of driving by a couple of times a week and being like, why are they working on my neighbor's house and they're not working on my house? What's going on? There's garbage everywhere, or any of those things. So yes, you didn't have an emotional connection from the very beginning, but that doesn't mean you can't build that into a home. Similar to what we talked about earlier with the design choices, you have a blank canvas, and it's not a broken canvas. You have a blank canvas that you can go in and make that house a home. Fear number 9 is the resale value. So here's my caveat on this. If you're just trying to get into the market to start and you're going to upgrade in a year, this new construction is probably not the way to go. This fear is legitimate. If you're planning on staying in this house long term, more than a year, probably 2 to 10 or more, overall, I think you're going to do very well, especially if you can wait the builder out. If you can stay long enough that nobody's building your neighborhood and you can start resale then, you're probably going to do very well. Again, real estate is a long-term gain. Over the course of the lifetime, you're going to do well on that home. Finally, fear number 10 is the financial hurdles. Buying a new home is expensive, and anybody who tells you that it's not expensive is a liar. Plain and simple. You've got to have down payment. You've got to have closing costs. You've got to have all these things. And that's just the whole process of owning any home. So it is expensive. However, builders are giving incentive money to buyers like you to get you into homes. If you're buying off the inventory, those incentives right now are insane. We've got temporary buy downs. We have permanent buy downs. We got all these different things. There are also down payment assistance programs that you can look at. Did you know there is actually a rent to own program that will help you buy a new home? Just know that if you do that, the caveat is you're probably going to have to take a higher interest rate, and nobody gives you anything for free, but they will give you the money on the front side to get you into a home. You can get into a new home for 3.5% down on FHA loan, and there's down payment programs to help with that. So these options are available. So yes, it is expensive up front or long term, but you can refinance after 3 years usually. That covers all 10 of our fears, and I'm sure there are probably more. If you have more fears, I would love to have a conversation with you. Keep in mind, we help with your relocation or PCS here to Las Vegas. give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or better get on book directly on my calendar. We're happy to make that smooth move here to Las Vegas. Be sure to subscribe below. You'll be the first to know about all the current market conditions here in Las Vegas. We put videos out every week. The intent is to help you learn everything you want to know, the good, the bad, the ugly of living in Sin City. So if you'd be so kind, shoot us a comment. Let us know if you have any questions and any other videos you'd love for me to make. I'll try to get around to making them. All right, that's it for the day. We'll keep the lights on for you. And for my military brothers and sisters, Alpha Mike Foxtrot.